Guten Tag, meine Freunde. Ich hoffe, du hast einen tollen Samstag. Willkommen bei Hanovi Global Network. Wo das GSDP vorangeht, müssen andere folgen. Welcome, my friends, to Hanovi Global Network. I hope that you are having a wonderful Saturday, okay? And I want you to understand that where the GSDP leads, others must follow. So we have just seen an announcement by the current administration, the NDC, that Mr. Ron Redhead would be taking up post as the ICT minister. Well, what do you know? I will have you know that it was the GSDP that was mainly responsible for that happening. It was the GSDP that brought attention to the fact that Mr. Ron Redhead was unceremoniously kicked out of cabinet. We all remember that. And the GSDP told the Grenadian people, and in particular, the people of St. George Northeast, that we thought that that was a very grave and ungrateful act. So it's quite obvious that the leader of the administration heard what we said and decided to correct that grave wrong. Well, congratulations, Mr. Mitchell. You understood and you heard the voice of the GSDP. Wow. It just goes to show that where the GSDP leads and commands, others must follow. Now we knew that that was a grave insult to the people of St. George Northeast, especially when they had voted overwhelmingly in the last election for Mr. Ron Redhead. And then they turned around and disenfranchised, in some respects, the people of the St. George Northeast constituency. And that is why we would not have sat back and allowed that to happen. Remember, the GSDP is the vanguard, and we are the defenders of all Grenadian people. So when we see injustice, no matter where it's at, we call it out, and we demand that it be corrected. Just like we demanded that the steps, the Tempe playing field be fixed. And once we commanded that it be fixed, it was fixed. Not by the NDC, but by the NNP. So in some respects, kudos to Mr. Nimrod Olivier for actually heeding the commands of the GSDP. And kudos to you, Mr. PM Mitchell, for heeding the commands and the direction of the GSDP, especially when the GSDP demanded that what had happened to Mr. Ron Redhead was in some respects unjust and ungrateful to the people of the St. George Northeast constituency. Okay? So this is the sort of thing that the GSDP is able to achieve while not even in government or in parliament. So can you only imagine what we'll be able to achieve when we're actually part of government? I hope, PM Mitchell, that this is just not a temporary fix, or it's not a campaign or election ploy where you decide to put Mr. Ron as ICT minister just to appease the people of St. George Northeast because you know that elections are coming up. The people of St. George Northeast constituency are very intelligent people, okay? So I hope that this is not an attempt to insult the intelligence, okay? And I hope that you're not just doing this because you figure, oh, well, it's campaign season and election is coming up, so let me put Ron Redhead as ICT minister so I can appease, okay, the people of St. George Northeast. This is not how it works. If that is the case, then that would have been disingenuous. So, more importantly, Mr. Ron Redhead owes the GSDP a debt of gratitude. And I strongly suggest that in his opening ceremony or signing in on June 1st, that he acknowledge that it was the GSDP that was clamoring for him to get a cabinet position. Ron Redhead, I want you to keep that in mind. You owe a debt of gratitude to the GSDP. And I want you to understand, Mr. Ron Redhead, once Mr. Nicholas McMillan becomes the MP rep for St. George Northeast, we'll work along with you. We might even hire you as an assistant, because this is what the GSDP is truly about. It's about all Grenadians, okay? And if you were once a political foe, we would embrace you in the interest of developing Grenada. We still know and we still believe, and the people of St. George Northeast is seeing what the GSDP is doing and what we're able to achieve even while we're not in office. So the people of St. George Northeast are pretty aware of what's going on. And that is why, coming up in the next election, they will vote for real change. They will vote for the ideal candidate that will represent them, one who is among them, one who understands them, one who is of them, and one who will do right by them once elected. And that is Mr. Nicholas McMillan. There is absolutely no one else that is suited and adequate for the St. George Northeast constituency. Guten Tag.